added a few more highlights onto those leaves at the top and made the lower ones darker by adding more red to the green, and I love that mixture. And then I changed the shape of this leaf, which hadn't come out nicely, and so it's sort of coming over that one and darker underneath. And then I saw that the light green actually looks nice against this background. So what I'm doing is I'm making light green close to the bouquet and the vase and the table, and then I'll fan it out and make it lighter and lighter as it gets further away. And you know, if I blur over some of these parts, I very easily added some red to the green and came back onto the table and put back the stalk there. So, and there can be a little light around, because I don't have to be right up to each, you know, little stalk and leaf. Where I can, I will, but it's not life or death. So I think that will be very nice, this greenish background. I mean, I could also add I added quite a few more buds all around, red buds. I thought they were needed. And I don't have enough white left on my brush, on my palette. I don't want to get too close because, you know, I've got a big loose hair on here again. And if it's cat's hair or one of the brushes from the hair brushes, hairs from the brush. So that's stuck onto my hand somewhere. Okay, I'll have to take it off. So I added the green more or less around the bouquet. And now, just with some green on my brush, and some of it came out darker, and now I've got a lot of oil, and I'm just going to dilute it and drag it out. And so it will get lighter the further away you get from the bouquet. And here and there little bits of red came through, and so I might add more of that, I'll see. Oh no, I've made my vase skew. Oh. I'm going to have to go back and fix that without the camera in my hand. So that's the effect I got now from adding green and fanning it out into the white. Pale green, obviously, to start with. And so some of the places I went over the leaves and I blurred them a bit, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, I just came back. And I like this mixture of red and green so much that I added a lot more leaves in that colour, a few hanging down here, which I didn't have before. And I added the stalks in that colour. And yeah, I fixed up the vase where I had smudged it. And the bottom is not quite what it was. I'll have to wait for that to dry. And I didn't have any more green left on my palette. So I'll leave that until I do the baby breath when it's all dry. And then I'll add in a bit more green where I think it's needed, and maybe just enlarge some of the leaves a bit. So I think for now I'll leave it. I'm very happy with the result and the colours. I think the green background is very nice. I was in two minds whether to use the light green faded or a bit of Naples yellow mixed in the white, which gives a lovely golden creamy colour background. It also would have been nice, but I think this green just suits the rose and the wooden table. So I'll leave that for now, and I'll come back and add the baby's breath when this is all dry, probably tomorrow. Well, the painting has not dried yet, but I just can't wait. I've got too many things to do. And Google has notified me once again that my photos are full, my videos are full, my videos take up too much space. So I've got to now start deleting again, and it's really annoying. But anyway, so here I'm going to just see if I can add the baby's breath. I also just feel that these leaves are too big and they take up too much space. They should be like half of that size. So I'll see if I can cover them with some of this baby's breath. And that seems dry enough. may not be the best brush for this. Yeah, I'll have to find another brush. So I carried on, I made the brushwork, and I added on quite a few of the baby's breath. So I'll add some more here, and I'm just making the stalk white because, you know, it's convenient while I've got the white on the brush, but I will add green over that again. And so these flowers are incredibly tiny. In proportion to my leaves and my flowers, they're so tiny that you probably wouldn't even see them. So I'm making them a lot bigger than they actually are, but otherwise they just wouldn't be visible. So let me make this one, too big. Come down this way, so there'll be a little covering the vase. And maybe some more down this way. And again, there's not enough dark here. But I'll put some more green around them. And little thin green stalks. And I could put a little over the rose itself there. I don't want to ruin my rose. I added some down there. And I mean, you can have big bunches of them. They really do add to a bouquet. And even when you have big bunches of them, you know, the roses and the leaves are still visible very much. There's also a little tiny mauve or purple, no, or blue, little kind of baby's breath flower that grows around here on the hedges, and it's so pretty. And that would also look nice in a bunch of roses. So I think that's it for now. I will just add some green with a different brush. So I'll add back the green there. Or even the rose-coloured mixture. And so I might have to wait until they're dry to add another layer of the white. So it's very, very soft at the moment. Barely visible. But it's not really the focal point. It's the roses that are the focal point. This is just background and just something to give a more rounded and complete look to the painting. So I think I'll leave it there. The painting dried overnight, but before I left it to dry, I wiped off the tops of the little white flowers because I didn't want that paint drying into little lumps. So it's all smudged, but that's okay. I mean, there are little bouquets of little tiny flowers, and within these tiny flowers, there are multiple tiny petals. So you can imagine the petals are really tiny, but the bouquets, depending on how many sprigs you put in there, they can be quite large. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just adding some more flowers to the bunches. And then finally, when they're dry, I will, or maybe even before, I will redo the stems leading up to them and add on some leaves, and then a few changes to my main flower, a big rose, and then I will be done. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm using the side of this flat brush. It's a much better way to make these little dots than to use that straight, I don't know, because like a straight pointed brush, but it's too long, so it's, because it's soft, it just doesn't make the little dots, it just spreads out. So this corner of the brush is much more effective. So you don't need a lot of paint on the brush. You just keep dotting around until you get the size of bouquet that you want. Like I said, I'm doing them over the green so that they are more visible, stand out here. If I did them on the pale green, they would hardly be noticeable. I did one on the vase, but the vase is a bit darker. So I've put on all the little white flowers that I wanted, the baby's breath, and now I'm just adding some leaves where I want them, because during the painting of the rose, I put leaves where they shouldn't have been, and they ended up changing the shape of the rose. And I'm trying to change it back to what it was, and just adding some phthalo green leaves there. It's a nice bright colour, but it also helps to set the rose back into more of the shape that I wanted. More of kind of an oval shape going up, rather than just a splayed out shape. Anyway, I think I need to do another one just here, coming down like that. They don't all have to be facing the same way. Yeah, and then I think I might add another one or two up there, because now I have covered up most of the leaves with the baby's breath. So I just want a few more that are not covered. I'll mix the red with the green to change the shape of that colour of that stalk. And so that's good up there, and another one over here would be good. You have to just also look at your bouquet and think about, if you were doing a bouquet of flowers, would this look balanced? Would it look? Yeah, so it's not just as balanced as a painting, but if it was an actual bouquet, would it look harmonious? So nice and rounded, and I think it would. I'll just add on another one there. They don't all have to be the same shapes, as I said before. You know, you can do a sideways leaf, a full leaf, a half a leaf. And I may add on some highlights, but I don't think so. They don't all have to have highlights. After some final adjustments for the background here, where there were some smudges in there, put a bit of dark around the vase just to highlight it a bit, and then dragged away with some white, and added touches of green to the baby's breath here and there, to the stalks and the leaves, and just a few more leaves here and there, just to make that rose the way I wanted it. Set it back. I added touches of red here and there, and now I'm happy with this, so I'm going to just leave it as it is. So thank you for watching, and please like and comment, and let me know what you think, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Bye for now.